Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. I always like to begin by saying it's just a pleasure to be here with you. Just nice to be with you, to share these moments, to share this space here on the planet, and especially, of course, to share this energy with you. Nothing better than to simply be in spirit with others. Just two announcements before we begin this morning. First of all, again, I thank you for the nice comments you made about my book. I hope you're enjoying it. And we hope to make another little announcements in the next few days. Also, I want to mention tonight, we'll be having our testimonial. Although July 4th, we'll still be having our testimonial. Pat Olson will be giving that testimonial from 6 to 7:30. And we'll very warmly invite you to join us for the testimonial this evening. Today will be fun. As we celebrate Independence Day in America, it is helpful and inspirational to understand how the Holy Spirit can use such days to raise us into a greater appreciation of our daily living. Let me first focus on two aspects of our Independence Day celebration, and then proceed to show how the Holy Spirit can use these third dimensional teachings to raise us to a much higher fifth dimensional awareness of living. The first aspect of our Independence Day concerns the two aspects of the word freedom itself. One aspect of freedom is becoming free from. A second aspect of freedom is becoming free for. First, there is freedom from, and then freedom for. These two aspects of freedom are quite evidenced in the celebration of American independence. First, independence, freedom meant becoming free from the domination of the rule of England. This freedom from was captured, obviously, in our Revolutionary War, and with it, all of the exploits, such as the Boston Tea Party and the hardships, the days at Valley Forge. But all of this was necessary as a historical factor for the United States to be free from English rule. And then, as America became free from foreign rule, America then had to settle on what it would be free for, what America became free for. This view was presented in our Declaration of Independence, where we became free for the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and clearly expressed eventually also in our United States Constitution, which established the principles of America's government. These individual rights and system of government are what America was free for in the past and what we are free for in the present day. Now, before proceeding to show how the Holy Spirit can use these two aspects of freedom, let me now acknowledge a couple of other things about our mottos. First of all, the traditional motto of the United States has been a pluribus unum, a pluribus unum. The motto means from the many, one, with the obvious meaning that we are one country made up of many individuals, although the original meaning was the 13 colonies made up one central government. Although this motto was superseded by the official motto of the United States in 1956, "In God We Trust," the motto of a pluribus unum historically establishes the fact that we are one country made up of many individuals. We'll come to that little motto at the very end of the presentation. Again, we will look at how the Holy Spirit can use these mottos in our teaching. But for now, let us see how the Holy Spirit, the God presence in you, can use the notions of freedom from and freedom for as the instructive teachings for each one of us. First of all, freedom from. The first and very obvious way that the Holy Spirit can use the notion of freedom from is freedom from the ego. Freedom from the domination of the ego. Just as America had to be freed from the domination of British rule. This freedom from the ego encompasses very interesting dimensions of separation, separation from our true selves. And may I suggest the following three separations that often dominate us, that we need to be freed from. The first of these dominations is to be free from not just the idea, but also the feeling that life is all about me. To become free from self-centeredness. It's challenging to be free from the experience of what's in it for me. This excessive worry about your little self, your ego, can so dominate your life. Even effects of compassion, efforts at trying to be kind and helpful, can still be about me first. Look what I have done. Look at the way I'm being helpful. And of course, the same things apply to our family, our friends, our religions, our countries. These are my views. We need to be freed from this me, this obsessive sense of the little you that mars our appreciation and recognition of the good of others, when it's always simply about me. The second obsession of the ego, almost as bad as self-centeredness, is an obsession with material things. It's like seemingly having more stuff gives you a sense of being better than others. It's so easy to feel that we have been very successful in life by gauging, well, how much money we have or how many possessions we have. Hinduism is very good at cautioning us about the worldly pursuits of wealth, fame, and power. While wealth, fame, and power are certainly not bad in themselves, they can take over in our lives so that we gauge our success on how many things we have. We probably wouldn't say that, but at times we do feel that. It's just so easy to become imprisoned by our possessions. While it's certainly to be important and very important for us to be aware of the need of material things, it's also very important for us not to be unduly driven by them. The person with the most toys does not win the game of life. Now, the third thing that we need to be freed from. The third thing that we need to be freed from is to be free from, this is so very important, to be free from the domination of fear, worry, and anxiety. The fear, worry, and anxiety of what tomorrow might bring, of what could happen to us. This obsessive fear about tomorrow seems to make the first two obsessions even worse. Tomorrow, I might not have enough money. I might not have enough wealth, enough family, enough friends. So I worry even more about myself. We've all been there. Is there anything that can free me from this domination of myself, my possessions, and my fears? What is it that needs to be so we can be free from these insidious dominations? Well, obviously there is. But now the focus needs to change from being free from to being free for. Just as our country needs to be free from the domination of England to foster its growth, we also need to be free from the ego with this obsessions of self, the world, and fear, so that we can grow in our own fullness. The word that I would like to use to foster our personal growth, the word that speaks to us of what we are free for, is the word alignment. Alignment. When we align, we begin to see three things very, very clearly. Let me now simply share these three things that we are free for. First, we can be free for the bigger self. Rather than that little self, the ego, we can be free for our eternal soulness in our conscious connection with the God Spirit. We can consciously align with the God Spirit. When we put our big self first, we realize that this is not egoic self-centeredness, but rather first aligning our soul with the God energy, which then gives us the wholeness that we desire. It helps us to get over the me-ness by helping us to see that our lives, well, they truly are 100% about our true selves, our aligned selves. They are also about 100% of service for others. We have this larger sense of oneness that enables us to appreciate and recognize the goodness of others. Once we recognize the goodness within ourselves, when we have aligned. Our bigger soul self has become now the antidote to the little self, as well as to the addictions of the world and fear, because it knows its rightful place in the plan of God. Which now leads to the second thing we need to be free for. It's a fair question to ask yourself, well, what is my rightful place in the plan of God? What am I really doing in life? And especially how that rightful place might help me to realize what I am free for. I suggest that your rightful place in the plan of God is to consciously accept the fact that you are co-creating the presence of God here in the material realms. Let me just say it again. I suggest to you that your rightful place in the plan of God is that you are co-creating the presence of God here in the material realms. Quite an undertaking. That you are in partnership with God as a creative presence in the world. Your willingness to understand this takes us so far away from that notion of egoic separation. You will not come to this conclusion that you're in partnership with God if you are in egoic separation. You will not come to this conclusion as long as you are dominated by the ego. You will not come to this conclusion as long as you are dominated from the world or by fear, worry, and anxiety. We must be able to move beyond these things. For as soon as we get beyond these lower sticky energies, you will see that your rightful place and mine is to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy as you see fit in partnership with the divine. What dignity this gives to you to realize that your oneness with the divine is not just a nice idea to think about, but is really a partnership in the very energy of God. One final note. As some of you know, one of my favorite phrases is that we are here in the material realms to create beauty in form, whether it's in relationships, in group dynamics, or in planting a garden. I love this phrase. We are here to create beauty in form, which now leads us to the third thing that we are free for, namely, to advance humanity and the planet to greater growth. Again, it's a good question to ask, how do you personally advance humanity and the planet? I think the answer is even better. We advance humanity and the planet. We advance humanity and the planet by modeling a behavior that is no longer dominated by self-centeredness, worldliness, and fear, that is now centered in your aligned self, in your bigger self, in your eternal soul, fully cooperating with the co-creation of the God Spirit. I think that's how we do it. Please, 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 never doubt the importance of the behavior that you are modeling. You are modeling the kindness and the intelligence that the whole world is looking for. You are modeling a behavior of goodness and creativity that is the evolution of humanity. What you are now becoming is what everyone will someday be. And you're providing an evolutionary energy to our planet and beyond. This evolutionary behavior of you is what you have become free for. You are the future of humanity and the planet. Your energy is the present hope of our collective future. Just want to say it again. Your energy is the present hope of our collective future. Please know this with certainty. Now, just a little more about the mottos of the United States. The official motto was passed by Congress in 1956. It states, "In God we trust." While this motto is not always apparent in elected officials and in the majority of Americans who are still in it for themselves and are quite worldly trapped, you are clear. You really do trust in the God Spirit that is within you. This trust, this knowing, is not a fuzzy hope, but truly is a creative presence of your aligned soul self. And this creative presence of your alignment is good for you, and it's good for our country. But it's the unofficial motto dating back to 1782 that I would like to comment on. That motto is a pluribus unum. It's a Latin phrase, a pluribus from the many, unum one. It originally applied to the 13 colonies uniting as one government. But for years, it has provided the guidance to the melting pot notion of America. We are many people, and yet, although we are many people, we are one government. This motto fits in beautifully with our spirituality. Although many individuals are truly, in a sense, one with us, we see it much more as we are the family of the God Spirit. While we have individual Americans as part of our brothers and sisters, we are really one family of God. Someday, we look forward to all the peoples of the world being as one. From the many worldly peoples, that there might be a oneness. But for now, we are the model of oneness for other Americans, and hopefully as a nation for other nations. And perhaps someday, we will understand that our planet will be a model for other star systems and our galaxy. We might even want to tweak that motto just a little. Rather than a pluribus unum, from the many one, we want to more spiritually say, and I think my Latin is correct, e uno plures. E uno plures, from the one, many. You are one, with everyone in everything. E uno plures, from the one, many. From the one God Spirit, the many creations. Nature, people. Just seems to fit better. Well, in conclusion, I hope that you've enjoyed this reflection on our Day of Independence, what we have become free from, so that we can focus just a little bit more on what can we be free for. Truly, in God as us, we trust. In God as us, we trust. And we understand e uno plures, from the one, many, we get it. Isn't it amazing how the Holy Spirit can see even the most mundane things with new eyes? Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let us begin as we normally do by simply focusing on that rhythmic breathing, just knowing that as we do so, the breath just has the tendency to settle us, settle our bodies, settle our minds, and brings our soul to the fore. Please begin. Did you notice how somewhat easily we have come to this inner presence? When we come together in a group energy, it just seems like we provide the venue in which each one of us can feel that lovely presence within ourselves. And would you simply acknowledge, yes, this is the inner me. This is my soul self. And would you again say, I am consciously aware that this is me. I am consciously aware of the inner me. And would you add one more component, that you are consciously aware of the inner you, and that you create your life by the choices you make? Would you acknowledge that? I am creating my life by my choices. Now let's do a little experiment this morning. Without thinking about it, would you simply call to mind the first thing that you would like to be free from? Is there something maybe that happened even this morning or recently, just something that you need to be free from? Not that it's terrible and not that it's weighing you down, but it's still a nuisance. What would you like to be free from? It's amazing how these prickly little temptations come in, and we just need to let them go. They're irritations. We just need to set ourselves straight again. Let's ask the other question though. Right at this moment, what would you like to be free for? Just what comes to you, just right off the top of your head. I would like to be free for. Did you notice that what you want to be free for was kind of right there just below the surface? And it came to the surface fairly easily. Whatever you decided that you want to be free for is truly what you are meant to be free for. You didn't have to think about it. It simply came. Would you acknowledge that? Just acknowledge what you want to be free for. Let us now proceed to a very important part of our meditation today, and that is the understanding that you are modeling a behavior that is more and more and more free from the ego and more in alignment, and that this behavior is being noticed by the people in your lives, whether you notice them noticing it or not. You are showing up in alignment. So last night in our weekend enrichment, one of our members was talking about the notion of that yellow bracelet at times, WWJD. What would Jesus do in a situation? But a friend of hers said it was not about what Jesus would do, but rather she substituted the name of a person for Jesus. It just so happened that person had the same initial, the Jesus had. So WWJD was not what Jesus would do, but what this person would do. Do you not see how precious your modeling is becoming? There's another word that fits in nicely, and that is the word consistency. You are consistently modeling and aligned behavior. Wow. The consistency of your day in and day out behavior in which you know you have changed. And because you have, you know that it is the pathway forward for our species and planet and star system and beyond. Perhaps Independence Day celebrated in America will be a little different from now on, as you now see how the Holy Spirit can use such days to broaden our vision.
I honor thee, I honor thee, namaste, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee, namaste, I honor thee. Deep within, peace resides, faith abounds, and love abides. The light shines bright to illumine love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee, namaste, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee, namaste, I honor thee. When you are with
It's really nice to be free from the struggles of separation of the ego. But the joy, the fun, is what we are free for. Aligned, conscious, co-creation. We're doing this. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Terrific.